Yeah, I want to kind of explore that too, the relationship between art and science. Because I think from the outside, you take the physics, and then theater, how does that go together? You know, describe kind of that merge of art and science together.
Yeah. So I actually see tremendous similarity. I get your point, but I see tremendous similarities.
Well, I'm with you. I'm saying on the outside it appears that way.
Oh, so what's my take? Because what I would say is that look at it from the point of view of creativity and innovation and a sort of driven focus to think outside the box is such a cliche thing to say. But I see science and the arts and then everything else.
Really?
For example, just any sort of, for example, medicine.
Yeah.
Where if I make a mistake in my research, oh shoot, I've lost 24 hours, I have to code this thing up again. Maybe I'll have to rewrite a talk that I'm preparing. Well, in medicine, if you screw up, somebody maybe has died.
Yeah.
So in the arts and the sciences, I feel like it's culture's opportunity to kind of take a break from the seriousness of everyday life. And it's kind of almost cross-training for your brain, where you can let your brain go pretty much anywhere it wants. And no one's going to get hurt. Well, usually, unless you... no one's going to get hurt. Something new is going to come out of it that hasn't existed before. And you're going to be able to share that with people. Mm-hmm. It's something new.
Yeah.
And so I think that science and the arts are just a perfect combination. Yeah. In a certain context. I mean, sometimes you need to focus on one or the other. I don't bring improv comedy into every group meeting I have in order to, write up this paper that we need to get out. But I love the combination.
Yeah.
In fact, I found that when I do just plain theater, it's less of a challenge than when I realize, there's a theme here, and I need to figure out how to almost trick an audience sometimes into listening to something that on the surface sounds pretty boring and hard, and hard to access. And I think, well, wait a minute, what if I can get them going with a joke or with some funny thing out of left field they don't expect to get in a class, getting them laughing and then kind of tricking them into learning something along the way. And to give you an example, I write an April Fool's satire every April Fool's Day. I post it to this existing open access repository for real scientific articles. And the first one I ever wrote, I was writing up my thesis in grad school. And I was miserable writing this thing up. So this is what I do a lot. I have my real thesis up in one window. And then just to blow off steam, because I'm sick of it, I bring up another window and I'm starting to write a satire of the thing in this other window. And I published that as my first April Fool's article that no one really paid attention to, but then kind of started catching on over the years. And the third or fourth one I wrote, I had friends of mine, it was about machine learning. That's an algorithm we work with in our own research. And I wanted to, blow off steam, as I said, and maybe learn a kind of a related technique that I wasn't very familiar with. And if I can make fun of something, that's all the ammunition I need to learn it myself. So I wrote this thing, and some friends of mine who, and some people I'd never heard of actually, wrote to me and said, I would never read one of your actual scientific papers. It sounds like actually kind of boring, but this is great. And that led some of them, to actually go back and find my real scientific articles and say, so is this how machine learning works? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. So that's what I mean when I say, if you can use the arts or comedy or some creative thing to kind of tease somebody into learning something, that just brings me a lot of satisfaction, a lot of joy. So it makes everything more fun.
Yeah, like pulling something from over here to then use to communicate another idea, right?
Yeah, or to making people open to learning something in the first place, something that otherwise would look very daunting and intimidating.
Yeah.
So making it accessible. That's not the number one reason why I do the comedy stuff. The number one reason is it's my favorite thing. But it leads to some nice outcomes.
So how did you get into astrophysics? How did you decide to pursue that?
I